Hello and welcome to Frank's Shed. We have with us today a true legend of Irish rock music. Could you please give a warm welcome for the Pat McManus Band? Yay! Pat the man himself, great to meet you. Paul on drums, Marty on bass.
Hi, Joe.
Good to meet you all. Pat has been wowing audiences with his virtuosic guitar skills and violin skills ever since forming Mama's Boys in the late 70s. And they were actually a massive part of the surge in popularity of Irish rock music at the time. And you ended up touring far and wide with some of the most revered bands in the business.
we were fortunate, and it's funny, at the time it was quite difficult for a band of our ilk to actually get in and be fit to play nationwide, for want of a better way of putting it, you know. I mean, there was the sort of the confines of Belfast and Dublin. A lot of bands could do that, but we were actually going out over to County Mayo and playing, and down to Galway and all you name it, we played it, you know. And we were very fortunate that actually happened. And I suppose in many respects it was due to the song Needle in the Groove. Really, that really opened up a lot of. It was amazing. I mean,
international.
Because you know we were coming in on the tail end of the old show band thing, you know, and we used to get the promoters coming up to us and going, you know, many people's in this band, and we go three, you know, you must be joking, you know. And they said, who's that fella down the hall, down there carrying in that gig? We said, that's the roadie. Oh, you better put him up on the stage as well. It looks terrible. If
I've never heard of a power trio.
No, at that stage they hadn't, you know. And I suppose in many respects we were very fortunate that way, that we started to build up a little following that way, you know. And we had the die-hard fans throughout Ireland, and it just built from there. I mean, I remember. In one instance, when we had Needle in the Groove, we actually got to play in the Marquee in London, which was a fantastic gig. You know, it was the place where the Who and Hendrix and they all played it. And out of that, it's funny enough that the owner of the Marquee actually was there the night we actually played. Yeah. And he seen us and he thought it was great. And he said, I'm booking that band at the Reading Festival.
And it was from the Reading Festival you got signed again?
Yeah, but the point about it was we were the only unsigned act ever to play the Reading Festival.
Really?
Yes. So I didn't know that till many years later. I was told the story and I was amazed. And we didn't think anything of it at the time at all. But because he happened to be there and liked the band, he said, right, I'm putting these guys on. And from that day, the following day, we just signed with Geffen Records, was flying in from America, and there was a whole host of different record labels that were interested.
You have had a long and distinguished career, and you know you've played with so many great and varied bands, and now here you are in Portlaoise, still giving it socks. So, what would be the secret to your longevity?
I don't know.
And your energy?
I just love playing. To me, I grew up playing trad music, and the whole idea of a session in trad music is for musicians to get together. There's no money, motivation, or anything like that. It's just to get together to play the tunes and enjoy the music. People say to me, have you a hobby? Yeah. And I go, what do you like to do? I like to play the guitar when I'm at home. That's what you know, what do you do in your days off? Play the guitar. I just like it. It's and music to me is a great release for me, and I just love playing music, you know, regardless of what it is or what kind of music it is. I still play the trad music.
Yeah, you had the trad sensibility handed down from your father, who's from New York. And
that's right.
Relocated,
You know, and it's funny because when we were growing up, he was very open to different types of music, although his first love was traditional music. You know, but he remembers, you know, growing up and hearing the Dixieland jazz bands playing outside his window in New York, and subsequently he had a lot of records of that kind of music and stuff like that there. So when the rock sort of veered its head, he embraced that as well, and he could hear a lot of jazz influence in there. So he was all excited. Of course, we didn't like it at all. We wanted to rebel, you know. We said, this is no good, you know. It can't be any good if Dad likes it, you know. But that's not the case. You know, he was great, and he was very encouraging. We were fortunate because at that time as well, Phil Lynott from Lizzie, actually, it was their farewell tour, and he'd heard the band play at Byrne the year before that, and he said, he said to our manager, I'd love to have the lads on and give them a leg up, which was really, really decent of him.
That's very good.
And he just was a lovely. He was a lovely bloke, and he was a great ambassador for Irish music. You know, wherever you went, Phil was always singing the praises of Ireland and the bands. You know, so without his help, he really was a major help, because we went on a 30-day tour of England alone, and we went to Europe with them as well. But that was just a fantastic learning curve for us, and also exposure for us.
I believe you've just released a live DVD, Live in Ireland, and I've seen you live a few times, so I know it's going to be outstanding. So is there any details that you'd like to give our audience about that?
Well, the funny thing about this DVD is we've done DVDs in the past, and but they've always been in Europe. We've never ever recorded anything.
Drogheda, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've never recorded anything live in Ireland, ever. Not Mama's Boys or Else, and this band with the lads, we've never recorded anything in Ireland. We thought it would be a great idea at the end of it. It was to mark 30 years of Needle in the Groove since it was first released. Yeah. Unbelievable, really. And so we thought it would be really good. So we picked the venue in Drogheda, and we went ahead and recorded the show there. And I'm really pleased with the way. Normally, I find it hard to watch myself. And stuff. You know, it's a difficult situation to be in. But I'm really proud of this. The audience was great.
What's your first song, and what could you tell us about it?
Funny, the song is called Danger Zone, and it's it's about the dangers of getting caught up in the underworld, you know. And I thought, you know, when you're a heavy band like we are, well, sort of heavy, you know, but you have to pick a subject that sort of suits the music, you know. So that was something, and it's a kind of a warning for kids to stay away from that, carry on, you know. There's no need to get caught up in that whole scene of drugs and where it leads you. You know, it can be quite a dangerous place you end up. Absolutely. And so it's a little warning just to stay away from all of that. You know, there's music. You don't need that. There's football. You don't need any of that stuff. You know, so that's what that song's basically about. All
right. Well, a very respectable sentiment.
Yeah.
Danger Zone. Hit it there, fellas. I have fed the road and thunder. on the agenda is going to be?
Needle in the Groove. Pat wrote Needle in the Groove 30 years ago. I think he was about 4 at the time, Pat.
Yeah, just about.
And we did the live DVD in Drogheda to celebrate 30 years from the release of the song, from our #1 in Ireland, and it was a great time. And thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. Maybe Pat wants to explain exactly. I think Needle in the Groove is about maybe some lady who liked a needle-like object in her groove.
Hey lads, this is a family show.
So, well, let Pat explain the Needle in the Groove actually.
In the words of David Coverdale, it was a double entendre. You can take whatever meaning you like.
Okay,
right? We said it was about a record player, right? Putting your records on that you like, you know. That's really what it's about. So we were very innocent when we wrote that song. You know, what else would you write about? We weren't worldly wise at that time, so it was rather a double entendre. So it was just fun, you know. It was just trying to be as funny as we could, you know.
Before anything gets too smutty. Needle in the Groove. Kick it, lads.
She take a bite from the cover, she can blow the tap on the moon.
tell us how you first got exposed to music and how you got your foot in the door of the music industry?
A lot of musicians from this era of the 60s, like the Chieftains and the Dan and others, a lot of them would come up to my father's house to source the music, to get new tunes, because he just had a wealth of tunes from around the area, from Anna, where we're from, you know, and there were tunes that they wouldn't have been familiar with, right? So he was always quite good at remembering the tunes, and he sort of a recorder memory brain. I don't know how he did. He still does it, in fact, and he can think of tunes that no one else had heard. So they would come up to him and get tunes, and that was my earliest memories of watching these people in the house with recorders going, getting them to play these tunes. And I wanted to get staying up because I was only small, right? So I thought the best way of me getting to stay up is to learn to play something, and then he let me stay up and play, and that was the motivation behind. So I started off on the fiddle. And I've been on the fiddle ever since.
Our house was actually full of music too. My father, he was a pipe major of the local pipe band, so jigs and reels in our house as well. And my first instrument was the bagpipes. So my father heard me playing the bagpipes and thought I'd make a real good drummer. He was wrong that way too. But no, so it's growing up in our house too. It's full of music, and then my father, he produces a lot of shows and a lot of rock musicals and things like that. So the pipe bands and the sort of the Irish music was always in our house too.
I suppose I got it from my mum. I mean, there was always music on in the house. She didn't play an instrument. Nobody up till I picked up an instrument played an instrument, but she always listened to the radio, had music on, went out, socials, sung. You know, I got my first record player when I was 4. And minded it like a child, you know. Yeah. I was always records coming in and listening to stuff and just singing around the house, and I'd learn the words and all that. And then so I decided to play an instrument, having found hairy rock bands like Mama's Boys and other bands like that. I decided to pick up guitar. Brutal, absolute biggest mistake I ever made in my life. Couldn't get my head around it. And a friend of mine says, "Why don't you pick up a bass? It's got 4 strings. Learn the 4.
And it's slappable.
Yeah, learn the 4. He said, learn the 4, and then you'll learn the other 2, which is complete nonsense, because they're 2 completely different instruments anyway. You know, they're a different approach, you know, they're chalk and cheese. But I picked it up and I felt comfortable on it. It fit. I like the sound of it, I like the feel of it, and I've stuck with it ever since.
How did you get the nickname The Professor? Okay, if you don't want me to ask
no, it doesn't matter. No. It was just, it started at a gig one night. You would get young ones coming up to you and asking you how you played this or how you get that sound, and I would tell them. I wouldn't try and shy away from it. I wouldn't try and say, "Oh no, that's my secret. I'm keeping that. You're not." I'm not. So I would sit down and tell them. And so eventually, Joe, our manager at the time, Joe would come in and say, "For God's sake, will you come on? We need to go home," you know. And they would turn around and say, "Oh no, leave the professor alone." And that's how it started.
I remember, was it Rory Gallagher did that with Brian May? He taught Brian May how he was doing all this stuff.
That's right. In the early, yes, he did.
He mentions it.
He mentioned the sound.
Every interview now.
Every interview that Brian does, he mentions how he got the sound and who was responsible for it. And it was, I think, Rory actually took the time to explain to him how he got the sound. For me, he was the true first real rock star out of Ireland. I think he paved the way for an awful lot of bands that came afterwards. But Rory was at the coalface first before anybody else, you know. You might have had them, Van Morrison up in Belfast, but that was it. But the first real, true Irish rock star for me is Rory Gallagher.
Have you got any good rock and roll anecdotes?
The only one I can ever think of is when Phil used to give us a pep talk on how to present ourselves on stage, and he'd say, "Oh lads, you know, your image is terrible, you know.
You need an afro, lads."
Yeah, you need to get the image, and you need to get something that really people identify you with, you know. And he says, "Look at me, you know," and he should have said he was the dandy boy, you know. Yeah. And so we were going, "Oh yeah, Phil, I understand what you mean by that." And he said, "Right lads," so it was time for him to head off, get ready for a thing, and he popped his head back in the door, and he said, "I'm talking about stage," he says, "Could I have the length of your leg warm?"
The least rock and roll sounding thing ever.
Yeah, you know, it was really funny after him giving us this whole chat about how image conscious you have got to be and how to present yourself, and he stuck his head laughing with a wink in his eye. He said it, you know. So that's about it.
I believe you have an album coming out.
Yes, well, hopefully in the new year we'll have another album. I have the songs written. I just need to get the time now to go and record them. But immediately after we do this, we have a gig in Dublin tomorrow night, in Swords tomorrow night. And then we have one in Enniskillen, my hometown, and then we head off to England for 2 weeks, do 2 weeks worth of show, and then straight into Europe, and we do another 4 weeks there before we come back. So we do Belgium, Holland, France, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland.
Good stuff.
And then back in England, we do a few shows on the way home to the ferry, and then back into Ireland for around the Christmas period. Again, we'll be back here.
Your final song is going to be Real Barnstormer, I believe.
Yes. Well, that's collectively, we must be about the age of 200 collectively. So we thought the song would be nice. I said, I'll write this song up, because I was trying to figure out what I'm going to write about, and I thought, the oldest rocker, that's me. And I thought, right, I'll write a song about that. And that's what it's just a fun, it's sort of done in a ragtime feel and an old 20s and 30s feel to it. So, and actually it's one of the songs at night that goes down really, really well, you know, because there's a lot of old rockers like myself out there, you know, a lot of old rockers out there, you know, that the t-shirts don't fit anymore, you know. So that basically, that's just what that's about. It's just fun. It's just a fun song, you know.
All right, folks, the oldest rocker, take it away.
But every dog should do have a day. And I ain't this shy retiring kind, I'm just getting better like vintage wine. And I ain't lying down just marking time. Well, I burn the candle from dusk to dawn, 'cause when I'm dead I'm a long time gone. Oh, I'm just the oldest rocker in town. Well, I ain't ready for the rocking chair, I can jump 3 steps while climbing the stairs. And I ain't deaf 'cause I like my music loud. And I drink in every bar around town, but you won't get me falling down, 'cause I'm the oldest rocker in town. Well, I take aboard what Neil Young says, it's better to burn out than fade away. Oh, I'm just the oldest rocker in town.
The doctor last week, told the doctor I think I broke my leg in 3 places. He says, "Don't be going back to them places."
Thanks very much for coming.
It's a real pleasure to be
Really
here. Thanks for having us.
Thanks very much. Look, lads, you played an absolute stormer. We're delighted to have you here. And if you want to hear any more from the Pat McManus band, just go on patmcmanus.co.uk and go hit them up in a town near you. They'll be playing somewhere, I'm sure. And that's it for Frank Shed TV. We'll see you next time.